if you ask me right now, which you didn't, but I'll say it anyway. If you asked me the program, like a health meter of the state of Florida football programs, obviously Miami. I think Mario Cristobal in Miami are on the doorstep of dominance for the next 5 or 6 years with the way he's
Yeah.
recruited. I get it. Cam Ward's a one and done, but I'm telling you, Cristobal can recruit as good as anybody in the country. We're seeing that. Miami's the healthiest program in the state. Florida, ironically enough, might be too. What's going on in Tallahassee? There's a difference between coming back to the pack after a remarkable undefeated season, but what are they? 1-7, 1-8. I would put UCF
Yeah.
healthier than Florida State. And so the fact that we're focusing all of our attention on Gainesville and Billy Napier and the Seminoles are just sitting here. I mean, it's like bottoms out bad.
Yeah, the only caveat with Florida and keeping Napier is that they have the same schedule next year in reverse. So that means they go to Miami and they go to A&M.
Mm-hmm.
It's still brutal down the stretch. So that part is the same. But Matt, it's one of the hardest choices. Usually these almost impossible choices are obvious. This one's not.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, there are probably coaches who are probably even in the SEC who might be more nervous today than Billy Napier, but that's just because he has lived on the hot seat almost since the day he got there.
Yeah. And without the quarterback now, it's going to be nearly impossible. I was having a conversation with someone while I was on the road about coaching and kind of those logical steps, right? Like you, I believe Urban Meyer is the perfect test case for this in the way that he went Bowling Green, Mac, build the thing up a little bit. Who's this young guy with the cool name? Utah goes to Utah. Alex Smith, historical run, better than a mid-major. I know the Mountain West at the time, but it was Utah. They had a little bit of a foundation. Then he goes to Florida. Now, the way it started at Florida, watch Swamp Kings. Paul's a star in Swamp Kings. It wasn't exactly the greatest start until you insert Tebow Tim, and now the program's on a trajectory for national championships. I think Billy, who I still believe has a bright future as a coach, he kind of missed that step. Going from Louisiana Sun Belt right to one of the biggest programs in the SEC. And I look at a guy like Jon Sumrall, who Troy, Tulane now. I think Sumrall is going to be an SEC coach and a damn good one at some point because he's got that next step.
Matt, you dealt with him the other day. I don't know him that well, but I've interviewed him. I've heard Summerall's name privately mentioned for two different SEC jobs who are not open at the moment. That's how hot he is about to become. I'm really glad you brought him up. And they're literally two schools right now. If they made a change, he would be first on their list. That's how well received and highly respected he is.
Yeah, he and I hung out at the Senior Bowl in Mobile. He was watching some of his players there. He's getting ready to leave Troy to go to Tulane, and then we called the Tulane game on Thursday night. And just in our coaches meetings, I was texting Mullen on the side. I'm like, dude, this guy, I'm glad you're getting a read on him because he's just going to be a damn good coach. But he went to that next step, right? I get it, Tulane American, but that's a program that's had success over the past few years with Willie Fritz, and we didn't plan on spawning off into a coaching conversation, but this is
No, it's
what
okay.
we do. This is what we do. It's now big picture. Look at the coaches that are succeeding in college football. Look at the hell Sark had to go through to get to the point now where he has Texas where they are. Kirby Smart, outlier, assistant under Nick Saban, goes to a powerhouse program in Georgia because South Carolina was about to hire him, so they got rid of Mark Richt. There are so many stories where you find the guy accidentally, and there aren't many of those out there right now. And so you have to start looking at the Summeralls and some of these younger guys.
No, for those who don't know Summerall's history, he played at Kentucky, if that kind of gives away one of my answers. And he's worked in the state of Alabama, not that far from a school in Lee County, Alabama. So yeah, I mean, we're talking. I'll make it easy for those of you watching from far and away. Kentucky's struggling badly, even though Mark Stoops seemingly is in good shape there, but that could
Right.
change. And there's connections to people at Auburn like Summerall as well. I mean, they only lost what a sixth game of the season yesterday. Is that right? Five or six? I've lost track of
Auburn,
Auburn.
they are now 3-6 on the year.
Auburn's 3-6. They have remaining games against Monroe, good team, Texas A&M, and at Alabama.
Yeah.
Second year of Hugh Freeze. At this point, 2 years ago, Brian Harsin was fired with a better record than what Hugh Freeze has right now.